The moment I start recording and I get info that I can go pick the shoes from the parcel locker. Anyway, welcome to Katawa Shoujo, Lynx here. And this is another episode of this lovely game. Also, it's snowing again. What the heck? It's April. Ugh! I wake up and take a hot shower. Back in my room, the first thing I see is the familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. Also sorry, but again no webcam because I'm actually recording on the same day as the previous video, and that means my eyes feel tired and I'm reducing the amount of light to the minimum. So basically I only have monitors turned on. Anyway, the medications being lined up. It's annoying. I thought I was gay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here reminds me of the reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. That's how I will rationalize it. I down the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepare to head out to class early, as usual. As I step in the hallway and Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me, sounds like a ninja hiding in plain sight. I call out to him. Hey! He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh! Hey man! The voice. Oh! Hey man! I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like you didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it'd be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Oh. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide to not point it out that he's not wearing one. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open, slowly, releasing a creaking sound in the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. Huh. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out the test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just want to know when the next test day was. I'm still going to take it there. So I know what day I can afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. And why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. I have no phone. Why don't you have a phone? You cannot have a phone. No phone at all. No phone. I'm actually jealous that he's able to, go on like that. I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Ow, I did not mean to hit the desk like that with the nerve. Oh! Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head? Well, where else could I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over, Kenji opens his door again and prepares to head inside.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one.
Class is going to start like in 20 minutes.
I did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally bought 2 because I thought that the store had started selling individual AA batteries.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Whatever, man.
Hey, guys, using lip balm is not a bad thing. At least your freaking mouth will not get dry, right? He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting go to the class. And girls don't like dry lips. Anyway, for a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now, though their names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival.
So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also, come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds.
Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I.
Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I mean was...
The reminder of this sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Mostly students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. You know, it's surprising, actually to me at least. The fact that in Rin's route he's not going running. But then again, maybe it's because he's going to be falling into her pace of sorts. Anyway. Hisao! I'm going to make a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunchboxes and the privilege to join them in private with 2 bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, and remarkable feat since he's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident-looking pose as for an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest and making the V for victory sign with her hand. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding. Sure. I'll have your lunch offer. With pleasure. Let's go to the roof. The roof? What roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off and I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do we have an extra lunch? Ooh. Amy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in around at lunch and forgot to eat it. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emi shoves the door open and steps being in the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emi flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs.
Hello?
Yes, you scared me, Rin.
Wait, isn't she?
Hello?
Noticing the Rin speaking to me, Emi looks so curiously at me.
You two know each other?
I look confusedly at Emi. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school.
I didn't know you knew this person, Emi.
The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emi lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off.
I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better.
Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch?
Neither. I have food for free.
Nice thinking.
They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody, I say nobody, has to run to catch a bus like their life depends on it or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly, I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. No, I did not make that sound, okay? I did. The sun shines from a perfect clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze swooping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smoke and car exhaust like it is in Poland, just always. Yeah, it is like that. I mean, I think I've said it before, but we apparently have one of the worst situation when it comes to air. I mean there is a lot of fault in this to the country as well, I guess, but also the people. Then again, if everything is freaking warmed up with coal, then of course the air would be crap. And well, let me tell you just that I mean, some people might not be able to afford enough coal, right? So they use other stuff to burn in their houses and to get the warmth around, right? And it's not necessarily better for the environment than coal itself. Anyway, Emi settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag.
Come on, Hisao! What are you waiting for?
She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I sit myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Very impressive. Emi suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me.
Here you go! lunch as promised.
Homemade, no less. I'm impressed.
Wow, this looks really good.
Thanks, I make it myself when I can.
Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Take a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening a lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. Even 5 scenes before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am in right now. Right now! Will I ever get used to sights such as this? Yes, you will. I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? No, you're not giving up on that. Or does it mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? Yes. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Amy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Amy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding.
My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my careless figure.
What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh.
It's a figure of speech.
Does your figure to have to run the mornings too? Do you always sound like this?
Like what?
Like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I start to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let me answer the question.
Someone in the housing department thought that we complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another.
Complement each other.
Like shoes and a suit.
Huh? Amy giggles at my confusion.
Put us together and we've got all our limbs. Get it?
Oh, okay.
So I started to breathe, get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along.
I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject.
I have trouble with shirts.
Right. That seems fairly obvious.
Really?
Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Amy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rini is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm going to just stop talking now. It will save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I expect is meant to be a sage manner.
I see.
The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise.
That was good.
As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up.
I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry.
With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry, or one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw to the top of her box and begins to drink. I am once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Actually, you didn't mention it previously, but whatever. Somehow I don't think either Amy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she is missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure.
So, Hisao, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice actually, I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch too. Enemy greens, 1000-watt green. Please buy my response, I suppose.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature, huh? The nerve.
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rinda will just keep eating lunch all alone.
I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding. How's kidding? I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location.
And the company's okay too.
Abby frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now? Or at least acquaintances? The lunch bell rings, signaling a return.
Downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again.
I wasn't that hungry.
If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away.
Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry Yuko, didn't mean to startle you.
No. That's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now.
Are you now?
Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I grab another book or two while I'm here. There is not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves and for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk up to the counter, check out my books and pop them to my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through the and round the corner I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said, which makes me freaking think that over here, if it was a route for Lily or Hanako, there was a choice here, right? I think there was a choice over here if we go with Lily or if we actually approach Hanako in the library. So over here now somehow we triggered it in the way that there is no choice like that. Interesting. Okay. Hi Lily. Hey, it's been a long day at school. I can be tired, right? She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does.
Hisao?
Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise.
Good evening. What brings you here?
Once again she gives a small polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I needn't do so. Just going to town? You?
My, what a coincidence.
Doing the same thing, huh?
I usually go shopping on Fridays.
She paused for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost.
That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me.
Not lost but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. And it's her really... I wonder if this might as well happen. I don't remember if it was now or in the other occasion they went to the city together. I mean to the... I guess city, but I don't mean that huge town. You see, there was a meeting while they were walking back, right? Anyway, I noticed her reading the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief.
Thank you. She has a habit of doing that.
Avid reader.
Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit.
Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly want to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. With the road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of leaf cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it.
Tired?
Yeah, been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Actually, you know what I thought? Not right now, but basically in the past few days. Because of course Katawa Shoujo is kind of stuck in my head a little bit. I mean, obviously. Given that I'm playing it, recording, enjoying it, and so long, and so much, right? I mean, I haven't ever been transferred to any school, but at some point there was a chance for that to happen, because I remember my mother getting like a job offer. Like, I don't remember exactly how far away, but you know, in a completely different location we lived in, right? So there was a chance we would move and such, but well, eventually we stayed. Maybe it's not the greatest thing that we stayed. I mean, things would probably play out in very various situations, various places differently. I mean, given that I would change schools, I think it was middle school back then, and I was still playing football. I mean, I would probably, definitely would have to go to a different club, I guess, training and such. Maybe I wouldn't quit at that time as well, because I believe that at the time, maybe, you know, just changing the environment for the club would make me want to continue playing, right? At the time. Anyway.
Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things.
For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess? Yeah, was kind of different for, the formalities surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it for in time. She gives a matter-of-fact note, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I'm mad, it's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case.
Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends.
That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. Guess that's a good take on it, yeah. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else.
So, where in town were you going?
That's actually a pretty good question that I don't have answer to. I come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions.
Again?
I mean, I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way.
Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience stores myself.
Looks like I'll be in your care again. Thanks. Together we walk to the store, my pace is carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower, not that it's without reason. It is amazing. After what could be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Welcome to the store where the first thing you see is the ale full of alcohol. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter.
Mind if I tag along with you, Hisao? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here.
It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it would be my pleasure. I grabbed two well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it back up in her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane... Before I conclude the thought, she comes beside me and pitches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers.
Is this alright?
Yes. Sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it's out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the locals. As we reach each ale, I quickly check with Lee and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right. All that's left is bread and that should be shopping done for me. Do you need anything else, Lily?
No, this should be everything.
Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lee retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. I mean, you could probably do this at night in Poland now. Today, surely. Given that it was snowing, like April, what the freak, man. Just get warm. Actually, it was warm. I mean, it was over 20 degrees. So, I don't know. It's 1 Celsius right now, apparently. 1 Celsius. Like, how... wait, what? Yeah, it will be below 0 at night. Oh my god. What the freak is going on, man? I actually hope that when I get back to running with new shoes, I will be able to finally hop into short sleeve and short shorts, but no. Anyway, I know I'm complaining now. But whatever. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her back and leaving me to my two. You tired as well?
The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shouldn't have breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either.
Hey, I can understand what you mean. I guess better now than later, right?
I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for certain.
I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we cover bags of food and supplies from the store. Is it now or is it... Wait, what's that? It's now, I remember correctly, so we have a connection of the scenes. I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin! What are you doing out here so late?
Rin?
Lil perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin. Tetsuka, I think, was her last name from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated looking expression, something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and a painful cringe.
Ah, I understand.
I guess Lil knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly outfit. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge if she does so. She looks like a zombie, or a statue of a zombie. But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Rin blinks once very roughly.
Hello.
There is an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here? This late.
I was wondering about that myself too, just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same thing. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way.
She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction the other people went to, as if that was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being quiet type, Rin really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot of to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing, neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person. Always so relaxed. So relaxed. As if bull elephant grade sedatives were flowing her veins in the place of blood.
Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort for...
No, I don't think it's that. The other passerby were probably just worried for, you do look really lost. The way you stand in the middle of the street.
Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case.
I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further, or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that, most of the time, it's better to not read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that except with human interaction. And even if I win, it feels like losing. damn it, just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I pushed the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So, anyway, you have no idea what we're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, consequences, or the answer she's about to give.
I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least.
I think my voice for both of them is probably the same, but whatever. Lee sounds as if she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can say I share her optimism.
Yes, there is. Some, definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons.
The ensuing silence kills Lee's hopes all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin's, as far as I can tell, unbased assurances aside, what should we do? What should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. She probably will, unless she manages to remember what she was doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she said to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Lee is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's some more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume we were going somewhere, not coming back to school. Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock and she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this.
Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique!
No, what?
Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing.
It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction, just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way.
Oh.
She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know,
maybe you should come with us back to the school? Maybe you should come back with us to the school.
No, it's the same! I can't! Anyway, Lee interjects just as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face badly disguising the fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusions I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane in a way. Yeah, Lee's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction format and then nods.
Okay.
We start towards the school again. Having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. That's why we are ending it right now. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her arrhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lee keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping the ground with her cane. Tap. Step, 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 step. Apart from that and a few fragment beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet apart from the relaxing one into town and that. So, how's the mural going?
We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about work in progress. I'm sure it will be wonderful. Bad luck.
Top step, top step. She doesn't care to to talk about it. Lee's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep, going uphill. We slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there. I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lee's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder. Interpreting this as a gesture that she wants to ask something, I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I risk the urge to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway.
Is everything alright?
Alright? How do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second.
It's just... You seem unusually tired, I guess.
Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Sorry, I'm not in very condition. I don't really want to talk about it. Oh boy. I mean, first option, right? Yeah.
It's alright, I just need to catch my breath.
My condition is the best these days.
Oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean...
She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharpful, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being.
Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought.
Lee doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. Which makes you wonder right now, this situation, right? Every time Hisao would like mention, well, her condition, so basically being blind, she would kind of laugh it off, right? And, you know, yo, Hisao, no, you can talk about it openly. This is absolutely the same situation, but different way. Something is wrong with him, but she's not willing to dive into the topic. It's kind of funny contradiction, right? As she furrows her brow, Lee's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising that she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. I just talked about it! She must know not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay, it's okay. I have a pretty, I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it and spent most of the spring in the hospital, ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer for only seems to make Lee furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I tried to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realized that futility of doing so. Without knowing this, Lee smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all of the walk back that I had all but forgotten she was here.
It's Friday, isn't it?
I don't understand why she makes this weird expression, like...
Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad?
Bad?
Why? I think I'm going to go in a fetal position and throw up. Possibly in reverse order.
Is something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. It's Friday, nothing is wrong yet. This mural is going to need to be finished by Sunday. So everything is alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? It's not good.
So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Shizune's exasperation Rin's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has left her cell open for I told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can.
Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while.
I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realize she's not one to do that kind of thing.
Leave me.
We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack for making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something.
I'm sure she'll be fine. She's just, how to say?
Lee coats her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique?
Yes, a very unique person.
I guess you could say that, yeah. She giggles at the notion, melodiously nodding in agreement.
Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance.
So my guess was right. Lee offers a slight apologetic smile as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings have prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lee lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all of this as I am.
I'd better leave now and give this to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao.
She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relax, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting a friend. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me.
I will. Good night.
And over here, we are ending the episode. For now, hope you enjoyed. Hope to continue tomorrow. Yeah, I hope the next episode will be also enjoyable. Hope this one was enjoyable, and also the next one will be also without webcam. I mean, I'll also record on the same day, likely enough. So, yeah. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.